All right. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Farah Voltaire, and I'm here with 6 wonderful women. I know you guys only see 5 on this screen, but there is another wonderful woman here, and we're going to have it all set up for you guys at the end, okay? But welcome back to another episode. If this is your first time seeing my face, I am your host, Farah Voltaire, and I am back, and I'm so excited, Butterflies, for this episode. It's not your typical episode. This is a women's roundtable talk, and we're going to be talking about a wonderful topic here, and I'm so ready to get into it. But this is different. This is going to be something that I'm hoping to expand on. So if you can just bear with me on this, because it's a new project for me, and I'm trying to see how far it can get for you guys. But Butterflies, trust me, it's going to be dope. So, but this is definitely going to be a place where women come and speak and discuss life and experiences in order to provide more clarity and understanding to the greater masses of people who are out there who have questions like, you know, how do we see things? How do we comprehend things in the world, especially now when things are so changing? Like every day, it seems like things are different. So, but let's get into the conversation, right? But I wanna introduce everyone first. Let's introduce my panel. So we're gonna start from the person next to me right here on the screen. Shar, go ahead and introduce yourself, girl. What's up?
Hello. Hi, my name is Shar Mente. You call me Shar or Mente for short, whatever you prefer.
Yes. And do you have a handle or anything that you want people to follow or get to know you on?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Mente_duh. You can follow my best friend page at Issa_bestie.spam.
All right. All right. Next to Shar, ma'am. If you would like to introduce yourself. Sarah. I think she's frozen. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna deal with that. Hopefully she's able to hop back on soon. All right, Candace.
Hi everyone, I am Candace, and yeah, you can call me Candace. And I do have a twin sister, which is also here, but she'll introduce herself later. You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. This is Candace_, and I also do YouTube, and it's Cat and Can, just like that.
Nice, awesome.
YouTube with my sister.
All right, Catherine.
Oh, my turn?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Catherine. You can call me Cat, I guess. Whatever, Catherine Cat. I'm the second half. And yeah, you can follow me on Lord or on Instagram at Lord with the E_Catherine. That's it.
Awesome. All right, Tati.
Hi, my name is Tati. That's my nickname, not my real name, but we're not going to get into that. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Tati Duche. I don't know if my name shows on the screen, but just like that, just Tati Duche. That's my name on everything, so I'm kind of, you know. But I have YouTube as well. It's called Tati's Tea Time. So Tati's and then tea like you drink time. So that's it for me.
Awesome. And then Sonia, of course, off screen, but Sonia.
Hi, this is Sonia. My Instagram is so beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, so of course you guys know So. She's an original butterfly. She's like flexing the phone. Y'all can't see her, but she's like, but she's an original butterfly. She's a co-host on the Butterfly Diaries podcast. So for those of you who didn't miss Sonia, she is back, y'all. Right now, she's here with us. So give me 1 second though, because Sarah has left the group, and I'm a little bit worried, but that's okay. I'm going to try to invite her back in, but that is cool. Let's see. Because Sonia, you're on your phone, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I need somebody to hit her up. and see what's going on with her.
I'll call her for you.
All
Give
right.
me 1 second.
That's perfectly fine. I can edit this. All right. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on Sarah to hop back in, we'll continue with the conversation. So today we'll be diving deep into what God sees and how into what God sees and how women have to fit that mold. So basically the topic for today is a woman's worth. And oh, she's back in. 1 second.
Oh, she said her Wi-Fi had cut off, but she's back.
Yes, she's back in. All right, Sarah, you want to go
Can you
ahead?
guys hear me?
I'm so sorry. What happened?
Cat, everyone
I
froze.
cannot believe the entire time we
Yeah.
just sat here and spoke, my Wi-Fi was not acting up. And the
What just
minute
happened?
we just came on and started recording, and
Oh.
then it just started to just play games. But we back.
All
It's
right.
Spirit and truth.
Yes, yes. So I was having the girls introduce themselves and give their handle, and pretty much where they are, what they do.
Oh, okay. Hi everyone. I am Sarah Grace, and I am a teacher, and I am in school as well for my master's, finishing in 1 more month, and starting my PhD in 4 months. And I also have my other master's degree in social work, and I love to travel, and I'm married. That's all.
Okay. And did you want anyone to follow you anywhere on Instagram, on Facebook?
You can follow me on Lady DiGiralda on Instagram. I actually froze my Facebook for a while, but I'm hoping to come back on. But so far, I'm focusing on my Instagram page to build it up for ministry stuff. But Lady DiGiralda is where you can find me.
Nice. All right. Okay. Master's degrees out the yin yang. All right. That's what I'm talking about, girl. Do it for me too. All right. So we're going right into it. And I was just about to introduce the topic. Okay. I was just about to introduce the topic. So today's topic is women's worth. So I wanted to dive into something a little bit that really isn't really spoken about in churches, or spoken about in just like groups at all, because I know a lot of us think it, and we may have conversations like this with like our close friends and family and stuff, but we don't really talk about it on a larger scale, like out loud. And it's more so like when we're, yes ma'am.
I am so sorry. It's very difficult to hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay. So, what was I saying? So, yes, there's just so many topics that aren't being spoken about women in churches and everything. And I feel like we're being kind of silenced a little bit, and it's a little bit unfair, but we'll get into that, and we'll kind of push through that. But so my first question and it's open to anyone. Anybody can answer. Oh, I think we lost Sarah again. But that's okay. It's the questions are open to everyone, so anyone can pick it up, and we'll just go from there. Okay. So the first question is, how does society and church define women, in your opinion?
Okay, so in my opinion, the church defines a woman as, somebody who is supposed to be like in the background. Like, you grow up in church and they're telling you like, hey, you must submit to your husband. Hey, you must be, you must be quiet. You must be modest. And, they're just painting like a character of like a soft person, like somebody who's not supposed to be angry. You're not supposed to be emotional. You're just always supposed to be pretty and quiet and, have no opinions whatsoever. And, your man is supposed to just lead for everything. And then it's like, like Sarah was saying, she has her master's, she's working on her PhD. She's doing all of this just for the church to turn around and say, yeah, just be quiet and sit down and, let your man be the lead. You know what I mean? So we're doing things to better ourselves. We're doing things to be looked at. We're doing things to be heard in a positive way, of course. But at the same time, they just want us to sit down and be pretty and respectful and, just follow your husband's lead. And then at the same time, society, it's like the way the church views women is how society used to view women, and women are overcoming that. we're coming out, we're getting education, we're able to vote, we're, you know, so it's like, I feel like the church is trying to go back in time versus like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
versus our society's trying to move forward. Like now women are doing everything a man can. Women are able to, you know, they have females who do construction now. They have like whatever a man can do, a woman can do, of course, with limits. We're not trying to say we're men and, you know, we're stronger, we're better or whatever. But at the same time, not everybody has a man yet,
Right.
and you know they're still able to take care of themselves. They're still able to do what they have to do. We're not waiting on a man anymore. But you know the church is like, you know, go find your husband,
Right.
your mate. Society's like, you could be single, you don't have to have a man, you can handle business. But the church is like, you need to be married, you need a man, you need this and that.
Yeah.
So it's just like church wants to put us in a bubble. I'm saying it respectfully, of course. They kind of want us to put. They kind of want to put us in a bubble. Like, you know, these are the rules for you to follow. And in societies, like we're breaking rules, we're unlocking opportunities, we're unlocking doors. So it's like you personally, you just have to find your balance within it. I'm not saying I don't follow church rules, but it's like, you know, some things that are not with your lifestyle. As far as the world as well, some things are just not your lifestyle, and you don't have to do it. So as a woman, you just have to find out who you are, and you could take the rules of both worlds respectfully to God, be who you are.
Yeah, yeah. That's an awesome answer. Does anybody want to pick up where she left off? Oh,
I guess I can.
1 second, Candace. Let me repeat the question. I'm sorry to cut you off. But Sarah, because you just came back in, the question was, how does society and church define women? But and Tati just answered that, so I'm gonna go ahead and have Candace pick it up.
Yeah, I think. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think society kind of has how they define women is kind of more in a sexual way. They sexualize women a lot. That's just, you know, that's just encompassing everything. And then in church, I agree with Tati. I think they define women as more submissive. They, you know, follow the husband, don't say much, all of that good stuff. Which, you know, I understand. But I do think there needs to be some type of balance in terms of, I do believe that the husband should lead, but I also think that a woman should know who they are and understand their purpose in the world. You know, I don't believe your purpose is just to be sitting down. Yes, husband, you know,
Right.
yes, I'll do what you say.
Right.
You know, I think it's more to that, because if God has came into, hey, if God has came into my life and, you know, has given me all these ideas and all of these things he has put in my heart to do, and then I go to church and they say, you know, sit back, you know, almost like just, you know, generalizing everything here. You know, you go to church and it says, you know, be submissive, you know, sit back, don't do anything. And it's kind of like, well, that's contradictory to what God has put in my heart and what I'm supposed to do. So anyways, moral of the story, that is basically what I believe is the difference between the societal view and the church view.
Nice. All right. I'm liking this. Anyone else want to pick up? Anyone pick up where Candace left off, or pick up at all, like answer that question? Yes. Yes. No one else? So the question was, how does society and church define women? And Tati and Candace had some really great points. But I really want to hear everybody else's view before I put in my 2 cents.
Okay, I'll go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it brief. In general, I've never been too concerned about that, like how the church views a woman versus society. So it was kind of hard for me to even, talk too much about this topic because I'm really just living. I'm trying to follow Christ, so it's like I'm just focused on that. But just to answer your question simply, the church they do put women in a bubble. It's been like that for forever. Even in the Bible, it feels like, it's not much is written about women, kind of like they're in the background. So I do think women are in the church point of view. We are put in a bubble. We're supposed to kind of just stay on the side, do, housework type things and not say much and just have the husband lead and make all the major decisions. And on the other side, of course, society was like that in terms of like American society. I think we're kind of going away from that because now that we're seeing that women can do a lot more, no one's really expecting a woman to just stay in a shell. And even now with social media, they're promoting, women being independent. And, sometimes I think it's to a fault. I do think we need our husbands. But, they are promoting women, being independent, knowing yourself, knowing that you can do it without your husband. But, of course, we do need our husbands. I think a lot of women, they're turning towards like feminism, kind of getting the message, kind of going off with the message and to the left, thinking that, you're supposed to live alone, and die alone type thing. It's like, no, don't do that. But I do like the message that is being put out there in terms of society, putting out there that women can do any and all things, but of course it's to a limit. But yeah, that's it.
All right, nice. All right, Sonia, I see it's popping. What's going on? I see you itching over there.
No, because as she was speaking, I was thinking about how many people like mix up the real definition of submissive with within the church. A woman must be submissive. Submissive does not mean to be a slave. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah. So a lot of people, they're like, oh, in the church, a woman should be submissive. Basically, we know the man, of course, is the covering, but it's like you have no say so. And that's not what it means. So that's one thing that was coming to my mind.
Okay, awesome.
But just to put something in there really quick, I do think the church needs to elaborate on that term in terms of the woman's position. I don't think over the centuries, I don't think they've really, made women feel like we're more than just the background. I do think we need to work on that in the church. Understanding what that means to be, I think it's, what is it? We're submissive, or I think we're supposed to be helpers. Is that I think that's the actual. So yeah, we just need to work on that.
Oh, go ahead, Tati.
I see what so-so's coming from, and with that being said, we need another term, because if you sit up here and look what submissive means, to be submissive is to obey or yield to someone else. So it's like the literal definition is telling you need to obey, you need to yield. When you are submissive, you submit to someone else's will, which literally put your own desires lower than theirs. So we need another word altogether. Like you don't tell
I agree.
Be submissive to literally. That's what the dictionary says. If you're gonna tell us be submissive, you're asking us to put ourselves lower than you. And if you want to be equal and helpmate, we need another word, because don't say, oh, when people think of submission, they think of slavery. That's literally what it says in the dictionary. So it's like we need a new word. I see
know you do. Wait, so I have something. Okay, so let me just say this.
I agree with that as well. And I was even thinking about even the term repent. Oh, can you guys
Can
hear
you
me?
guys hear me?
Yes, yes, but Sarah was about to come in with the rebuttal there.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. So the thing
me
is
stop
that it depends who you are
I
submissive
can't hear
to,
anybody.
because the
Can anyone
person
hear me?
Oh, 1 second.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
Farrah,
you.
I can hear you loud and clear. It's just I can't hear anybody else. Oh, I can hear Candace.
All right. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, good.
Okay,
So
so
for
no
my
one was
thing
talking.
is,
Okay.
Oh,
all right. So it depends on. Can I see?
1 second.
I'm good?
1 second, Catherine. Sarah is talking. Can you hear her?
Oh no, I can't hear Sarah.
Okay. Oh no, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's taking
Yeah.
a bit to load because she just came back in the room. But Sarah
Yeah,
is.
that's why I was talking.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So go ahead, Sarah, and hopefully it loads on your end there. But go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. So what I was going to say was you have to know who you are submissive to. Because if you are submissive to someone with a dirty character, I would say ungodly character, the person will go and take the submissive word too literally, because sometimes especially nowadays, when we think of being submissive, we think of being a slave to the person that we submit to. But if we're looking at it in a biblical way, you yourself also, it focuses on the woman and also focus on the men, because Paul did address, or Peter also addressed the people as to women do this, men do that. So then again, if you are taking okay, I'm the head of this household, you must do what I say, then your character is not godly. So surely you know that if your wife is tired, it's not the time for you to go ahead and ask her to either have sex with you or wash your clothes or take the kids out or do everything that you want to be done because you're a man. However, if you have an understanding of who you are and also who you are with, it'll be easy to submit to whomever. So then again, I could speak to my husband, he could listen to me and let me have my way, even though he's the man.
She's getting in there. No.
Wait, I can listen to you. I can hear you guys. Can you guys see me?
Yeah, because it froze. Oh.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I'm missing this
you got
whole
me?
thing. I can't hear.
You can't hear anything. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to bring the.
I don't
Okay.
know what Sarah just said.
Can I piggyback off what she was saying?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Catherine.
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you, Shar, but I can't hear Sarah.
Okay, so
Of
I
course
wanted
it's
to
me.
piggyback off what she said because I agree with it pretty much. So when Tati was giving the definition of submissive, I don't necessarily think that we should change the word because I feel like it's being used correctly. I agree with what she said in that it's who you're using it towards. If the man is submissive to God, then you can be submissive to him because he's going to lead you in the right direction because he's leading you in the direction that God is telling him you should be led to.
Right,
He's not going to
right.
steer you in the wrong way. So if you're looking at it that way, then yes, you want to yield. Yes, you do want to listen to him because he's not going to.
Can you guys hear me now?
Put you in the wrong. So that's what I took from it.
Okay. I mean, that's what I was saying. Thank you, Shaw, for backing me up with that. Because if you seek a man that is after God's heart, so then again, the man cannot lead you astray. So if you meet someone on the side of the road, next thing you know, you're moving with the person and all the things. Like, oh, God told me that was my husband, without actually knowing that if that man is after God Himself, at the end of the day, the person, you cannot submit to that person because they will only teach you or lead you the way they were led or taught. So then again, if a man is allowing God, if they submit to God and if they're allowing God to be their leader and their maker, then again, it's only obvious for them to know that they fear God and they will also lead you in the right direction. So we don't really need to change the word, in my opinion. We just need to make sure that we know who we submit to, because when we use that term too loosely, what happens is that you have females who stay in relationships that is not meant for them because God told them to stay, or God told them to stay, or this is my husband. But sometimes you must know when to walk away from a situation, regardless if it's a friendship or anything. just know that this is not for you, and you cannot submit to that because it detaches you from God.
I like the main reason why I was saying, like, I agree with what you're saying. You and Char are right. I think the reason I was giving the definition is because the term is used so loosely. It's used so loosely. Like my brother, we were having a conversation, and he was talking about, oh, submit to me, go make me a sandwich. I'm like, it's like when people, like, if the guy is being used by God, of course, submit. But some men, they really think like, I'm the boss of you. Then that's where I'm coming from with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and let's be real. A lot of times, women get in relationships they have no business being in.
Business being into,
Yeah.
right?
Business. So it's like it's like 8 out of 10 women are in those relationships, and it's like 2 out of 10 who have a genuine husband that they can genuinely be submissive to, and he's allowing God to use him. But those other 8 is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Like, don't let nobody pull you and boss you around and thinking it's submission. It's like, the term is used so loosely, and I feel like the church, they're always telling women how to be a wife, like, train the men how to be a
Thank
husband.
you, girl. Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. But
Yes.
If you're looking at it that
Tati
way.
is right, but it does actually do that. In Titus, I believe Titus 2, when it's talking about the woman mentor your daughter, the young woman and all of that, and it goes on further down telling men. But you always hear them talk about the Titus 2 woman or the Proverbs 31, but you don't really hear them talk about the men or whatever.
Yeah.
But to go back to the submit, I always tell people the Bible was written in 3 languages. Originally, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. So the word submit has a different definition in English than it did back then. For example, with love, for English we just have love, but then it was agape, phileo, and all these other extra stuff. I looked up the definition here in my Greek Bible, and it says to arrange under. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with to being, like, according to this, to arrange under. But we're looking at, I believe that, like, even in the church, we're looking at the worldly definition of submit when it's not meant to be in a negative way. So that's where I think the confusion is,
Okay. All right. No, this is good. This is good, y'all. I'm so excited. So, but I'm gonna piggy off Shar as well with who said it? No, Tati. You said basically that they need to teach men as well. So discipleship. I 100% believe in men discipleship, and it's becoming a conversation, which is good because beforehand you wouldn't hear men like gathering just to learn how to be husbands. They'll go out to go play ball or like go watch the game or whatever. Like you'll hear them kind of hanging out. Like men did fellowship, but not discipleship one another. Whereas like a husband, a godly husband, took on 3 young single men and said, "Look, I'm going to show you how to be a godly husband." Where the church just pushes it on us, where it's like, "Oh, you guys have to, women, y'all need to teach each other how to be good wives, and you need to go and do single courses and widely courses and learn how to treat a husband and all that stuff." Whereas you don't hear that as much in church, where men are being pulled by other godly husbands, good husbands, and being taught how to be a husband, especially because a lot of men have these problems where they're mentally internalizing a lot of pain and abuse, and they're dealing with a lot of things, and they don't have an outlet. And most of the time when they get into relationships with women who are of God, they expect us to mother them through that. They expect us to mother them through that pain, through that struggle and all that hurt. And it's like, I can't mother you through something you should have been through already. You should have trusted God to get you through that already. And that's why I'm saying, like, discipleship with men, that should be solidified in churches.
Yeah, it should be a standard, because when you meet, this is why they go straight into, let me be your boyfriend. Right. They forget the courtship, and then they just go into, before you know it, you're 10 years into a relationship with no ring, and I'm waiting for the time is right. And after that, 5 years or 10 years after you've been with the person, help them, and then they leave, because at the end of the day they have grown matured, but then again they looked at you as a mother because you've been mothering them for 10 years. So then again, for me, I always tell people, I'm like, even with the girls I mentor sometimes, I'm like, listen, if you are dating someone, please make sure they go to a church and they are submissive, or they are submitting under a godly pastor who also teaches them how to be disciples, servants, and a husband. Because then again, as a husband, you are also a servant, you are also a minister. So your job does not stop from the pulpit, because at the end of the day, you have to go back home to your wife and minister to her. You also have to serve your wife when you get home. So your job does not stop only at the church. So for them, this is why you find some men, they are good on the pulpit, but then again, they're ugly when they're home, because the deep thing that they have to deal with is not dealt with. The deepest thing, that the trauma, some men where they have been raped, they have been in prison, they have been going through a lot of things. And my husband always tells me these things that I listen to when people write him, and I'm like, most of the times you find females with trauma, but you never actually make it the norm that men also have been traumatized.
Yeah. And a lot of,
So because of that, when it's undealt with, you just find two broken people. They are going at it the wrong way, because God is not the center, or they have what should have been taking them 5 months is taking them 5 years. Because of the trauma that they have to deal with, unhealthy relationships. Even with me being Haitian, one thing I know is that sometimes my mom calls my brother, hey papi, hey this, hey sweetie, you my husband. I'm like, bruh, stop it, please. Just do all the karate stuff, like, stop it, this is not cute. Why is it not cute? Because now you have mothered your son enough to just rely on you as a mother. So when he gets a wife or a girlfriend, he can't really see the difference besides intimacy, because all he'll see is that I just want someone to replace my mom.
Wow.
Which is not.
But wives are not. So your wife is not your mother. Your wife is your voice of reasoning, in the sense they have the motherly aspects or instincts in them, but your wife cannot replace your mother. Right. So then again, you have men in church have to get that within them, So discipleship, mentorship is, I feel like it should be a standard in churches nowadays, because it should help them to just put their pins up, just come to church and be, you don't want to have your daughter marry someone like you. If you don't want your daughter marry someone like you, then do better.
Yes, that's a word. Yes. Go ahead, Tati. You got to say something.
As we were talking about, women getting together and preparing to be a wife, and men not doing it or whatever, and I'm just thinking, growing up as a little girl, it was drilled into me. You need to know how to cook. You need to know how to clean. You need to know how to be a mom. You need to know how to do this. You need to know how to do that. It was just so much that was required of me to be somebody's wife. And then it's I'm thinking about it. A man, I'm not saying for everybody, but majority of the time, the only requirements is to have a job. And I'm like, I have a job too.
To be the provider.
I have a job too. So it's he's only supposed to come with a job, but I'm supposed to come with a job and all those things. These days, let's be realistic. I don't know what your man got to be doing to be able to pay for every single thing. He has to be, he has to be really living his best life. But realistically, in relationships today, you both have to sit down and pay the bills together. So it's if we're both sitting here paying these bills together, besides your job, what are you bringing to the relationship? While I'm bringing cooking, cleaning, sex, baby cleaning, watching the kids, all of this extra stuff, you know what I mean? And I still have to take care of your needs on top of my needs and our children's needs and the household needs. And I'm not saying a lot of men don't, some men, they do it, but let's be realistic, the majority of men, they don't cook. They don't clean like that, and all that falls on you. So it's it was really wow, we really have to sit down and give these men requirements besides just working, because your wife works too, so that's not special.
Okay.
It starts at home. It really starts from home. And sometimes you just, as a mother, you just have to tell your son, hey, I'm making eggs today. let's stand here and watch me cook. Because there will be time where your wife will have to go to the hospital and give birth to your child, and then she can't go up the next day and cook for you. There are times she has to be a mom, she has to be a wife, but the wife does not always have to be doing all the chores in the house. So I think that a lot of the things comes from home. And I think with us millennials, we are starting to see that and not making like, oh, this is her job and this is his job. It's like all of us doing it the same thing. There should not be a requirement. And
I
when
Can
that
can
happens,
I say
it's just
something?
it makes marriage way easier.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Candy.
Candice.
Yeah, I agree. I think society in general, just as even including the church, is like doing men a disservice. Even when they're just saying boys will be boys when they do something stupid. Sorry if I can I say stupid on this thing?
Yeah, that's
When
fine.
they when they do something, that's you know stupid or whatever. Little boys will be boys. No, you need to teach them the proper way to do things and show them what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And coming to the cooking stuff, I do believe men need to learn how to cook, because if I'm the only person that knows how to cook, what if, and then we have 5 kids, what if, God forbid, I passed away? Like, are my kids gonna starve? Like, why? I shouldn't be worried that you can't survive without me. I believe that men should be able to cook, clean, do all of this stuff, just be able to. If you cannot survive without me, I feel like that's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a huge, that I believe nowadays a lot of people the conversation currently now in relation regarding relationships, because things it's changing, it's changing major, but the conversation surrounding relationships now is kind of like, if he can't pay my, like, if he can't pay my bills, if he can't take care of me, then why would I be with him? Because I can do it myself. But at the same time, I'm like, is it 50-50 now? How do you guys see it? Do you think it's 50-50 now, or is it still like, or is it 80-20? Like, how do you guys see the percentages, or like, because now what I'm seeing, because I've been single forever, so so the way I see a relationship, right? If I get into a marriage now, for me, I would want it to be 50-50, because I work hard for what I've got, and I've earned a lot on my own. I've grinded most of this. Everything that I've done and built, I've done it by myself. I haven't done it with anyone, not even my family's help, right? So a lot of this has just been Farrah by herself, whatever, So I have that independent mindset, but I'm also willing to, like you guys said earlier, like, to submit to a godly man. Like, if he shows me that he can lead and he can carry a household, and so I won't have a problem being like, yo, dude, you drive the boat. I don't want to drive. You drive the boat. I'd rather sit back. I already do so much in a day that I need somebody else to lead. So if you want to lead, dude, by all means do it, but also I want it to be 50-50, because I want to be able to be involved and not sit on the back burner either. So how do you guys see it?
I think it comes down to communication. I think I think each relationship is different. When you talk to your significant others, it should be an understanding of, okay, I'm going to do this and you're going to do that. And maybe you're not going to do that all the time. Maybe this season I'm doing most of this, I'm doing most of the cleaning, I'm doing most of whatever. And in this, and then the next season he's doing most of, another thing. So I don't think that it should be a set thing throughout, the entire relationship. It just comes down to, like, open communication, being understanding to one another, and work out, putting God first, God in the middle always. Amen. That's the short answer.
With me, the way I grew up with my mother and my stepfather, and that's one thing I will always boast about him, even though he has his ways. If my mother is cooking, he's beside her cleaning. Whatever she's doing, he's always beside her helping. I've never seen, growing up, I've never seen where she's doing something and he's not helping her. So, because that's what I grew up seeing, like, even if she's at work, He's cooking, and like even vice versa. If she's at work, I'm there, and he's also helping me, cooking or doing something for the house or whatever. So I've never looked at it like, because my upbringing, even though with Haitians we know it's the woman that cooks, it's the woman that does everything or whatever. But the way I grew up is, we're helping each other. So I feel like it shouldn't be left to where the woman is doing everything. I feel like you said, Farrah, 50-50. And then now that, back in the days where women would be, the housewife, stay home or whatever, it's not like that anymore. So, where, now they're both working. So if the man is leaving everything to the woman and she's also coming from work, there's going to be issues or whatever.
Absolutely. Let me just, can I say something? All right, so I was gonna say that, okay, so I'm going to give you guys a quick story, right? So I was in a relationship for about 6 years, and beginning of my college years all the way up until I graduated with my first master's. So then again, he really treated me the way that his father treated his mother, and to a point where he met me in college. He knew very well that I was in stocks. I was already investing. I was working at the law firm. So in New York, I was a hustler. So for me, my mindset was always that way. For him to tell me when we get married, I'd have to stop going to work and do anything so that he could then again be the breadwinner. And I'm like, sir, I didn't really accumulated all of these loans for me to stay at home and for me to give you children so that when you come home, you'll have like the rice and peas on the table and your kids are already well fed. With the house smelling like glaze. It does not work that way. So I remember it became very like a discussion because his dad had like 5 different women, but his mother was one of the women that his dad admired. So his dad had like 6 children with his mom, but the dad was always the main bread person coming in, although he had other women. So for him, yes, he was cheating, yes, and everything, but as long as he came home to me and I was a housewife, it was pretty. No, sir, it did not work that way. Fast forward until now I'm married. When I met my husband, it was just like I knew that I was in addition to his life and he was in addition to my life. So whatever he could not do on his own, I added to that. Whatever I could not do on my own, he added to that. There was no sense of, there were times I'm like, all right, so you focus on this and I'm gonna get this. And sometimes he's like, he knows that I really wanted to be a nurse. He's like, okay, so don't worry, there's gonna be a time if you still want to be a nurse, you'll just stop teaching and you can just go to nursing school. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be 40 by then. But then again, it's really a matter of being like Kendra said, communicating. And you, no matter how independent you are outside of your husband or with your husband, there's a time where you have, again, going back to being submissive, there's a time where your strength ends and he starts. There's a time where you have to be willing, just like, all right, so my husband's here right now, I can chill. Okay, he's working, I can afford to go to school, and he's working, I know that I can now work part-time, because you can rely on that person. You don't always have to be a tourist or a lioness even in the presence of your husband, because your husband will bring out not only the lioness but also the baby in you, like that princess in you. So the rough, outside that everyone sees comes out. That whole veil comes out when you are inside your marital home, because now you're like, okay, you're having a real conversation. And being that when you get married, you literally either get a reflection of who they are or who you are. So then again, it's a matter of, again, going back to communication and seeing yourself as an addition or a partner, not really like, you do this, I do that, and I'm going to do it my way, and that's it.
So, just to kind of clear it up, when you were bringing up numbers 50-50 and you saw in society, that was more like the financial side, but most people answered with like housework or chores, like which one was the question focused on, or it doesn't really matter?
It didn't really matter. It was a very open-ended question, so it was just to, whatever you wanted to carry, that was good. So
I was gonna say, like, with the money, to be completely honest, I don't want to say I don't believe in 50-50 because, like I have one bank account. The money comes in there, we just pay bills as the bills come. So it's like I don't have my own bank account. He doesn't have his own bank account. The money comes, we pay bills. I need something, I get it. He needs something, he gets it. So I have no idea who's doing what. We just share everything.
That's awesome.
Share everything.
I like that.
Ooh, ooh, okay. Ooh. I'm gonna repent. I'm going to repent. Sorry, guys. Ooh.
It's bad if you're trying to you're working, you're getting money, and you want to buy a wig, and he tripping that's a problem. This is our money, and if I need a wig, I'm gonna get my wig. And then in a lot of relationships, some women say, "Oh, we have a bill account. We put money in bill, and I have my spending money." I'm like, well, why do you have your spending money? Is he not allowing you to buy what you want? Is he not allowing you to beautify yourself? Is he like, oh no, don't do this, don't do that? If you're in a relationship like that, get your little points to the side. Better yet, leave the relationship.
I'm gonna need to repent, you guys.
I
I've never had an issue where I need something and I'm not able to get it as long as you have the means to. It's never been a problem. If we have a bill when I go buy a wig, that's gonna be a problem. But if everything is paid, if I want to buy a plane, I'm gonna get my plane.
All right, so it all boils down to communication, right? Because you need to be able to communicate that. That has to be something that you and your husband has, like that trust. First of all, has to be there as well, and also the communication. And you also have to see the maturity in each other as well in that area where you're like, I trust you. Like I know you're not gonna go out and like buy a whole bunch of damn clothes, and then we got a light bill due next week. Like I know you're not gonna like splurge and stuff. Like I trust you to that point to where I don't need to keep eyes on the account, and we can have one account. Like that's a whole nother level of maturity. So hand clap to you and Steve for that.
Okay, so for me it's a bit different because then again I have like 5 bank account. Like I literally have 5. Then again there's one because he's a minister. So then again he's a pastor. So then again I get money, like we control the church account. Then again whenever I get paid and whenever he gets money in for whatever he does, it comes into our own account. Then again, that has a checking and a savings. Then again, I have another one just for business purposes. So, but in all together, whatever money we get, it goes into one account. But I myself, I always save for rainy days. So then again, I literally, for those extra, if I have like $300 extra from after paying bills, I put $150 on the 4th account, another $50 on another 4th account. Like I don't keep all money on there just because I know by experience, by putting $150 in every account that I know, one day I woke up to like $2,000 from one account that I even forgot I had.
Wow.
Oh wow. And I literally paid off one of my cars with like half of my cars with that because I was just like, he knows me. He's like, I know you got money somewhere. It's not because of selfish ways. It's just for me, I'm always trying to make sure that yes, we pay the bills, but we are also saving. And I need to repent. One account does not sound bad to me, but I have to kind of like discipline myself to keep it that way. But for my own purpose, I'm just like ministry, whatever, his deposit and my deposit together, and then that's it.
But Sarah, yours, there's it's a circumstance and it's understandable. But like on a regular basis, you guys are not leading normal lives. He has pastoral money, you have business money. That's different. But I'm just talking about like you have a regular job, a regular income.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't raised that way, so I still have to figure it out because my mom is when I told her 50-50, she hit me in my face. She just simple. She shut it down. That's just not how she was raised. She was raised by her father to believe that she is supposed to be taken care of, and that's the way that she tried to raise me. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's what she believes. Like, if he's the man, he's supposed to be paying all the bills. Just simple. And I understand, like you said, times are changing where it's harder for a man to pay all the bills because stuff is expensive. That's why it's now that women have to work and they have to help out. But my mom still she doesn't see it that way. If he can't afford to take care of you, you shouldn't be with him.
Oh my God, that's my mom. That's my mom.
Imagine with mortgage, you have 2 cars, phones, and you have children. Like on a sole, just on a sole income, that person would have to bring at least $4,000 to $5,000 a month just to at least cover the minimum basis. I've made my numbers. I'm like, listen, just you by yourself, honey, you need to bring at least six K. Like that's not even a joke. But then again, we are looking. This is why some women now think that if he don't have a good job, I don't want him. If his credit score is not okay, I don't want him. Because now we are setting the bar so high financially that it has to actually go with our lifestyle. So I want the 5-bedroom. Let's say if he cannot afford a 5-bedroom with housing and real estate market being so high these days, how can one person focus on that? So I was following this lady. She has 3 children, and her husband, they were married for 20 years. She has never worked a day in her life since she got married. Out of nowhere, one day, I think 2 days before Christmas, the husband passed away. Literally in the living room while they were watching a movie. Passed away like that. And she had to raise funds, like literally raise funds, go Google fund, whatever fund she had to get, just so that she could even either bury him, even continue living. And for me, and I'm just like in the back of my head, though we are Christian, we are binding the devil, this will never happen. But the reality of life is, what if it does happen? What do you have to prepare?
Absolutely.
So then again, there is a time where even when Joseph had to interpret the dream for Pharaoh, when he said there are 7 years of famine coming and there are 7 years of wealth coming, and then he advised Pharaoh what to do to save up for the years of famine. So the years of lack will come, but are you ready for you to prepare for your household when the years of lack come? So I know that if my husband give me $3,000, I would spend probably 500 on him, 500 on me. The rest is saving up if we don't have children. So for that, we have to save up. No matter how spoiled I am, or no matter how spoiled he makes me, at the end of the day, we have to still be able to be realistic with whether it's 50-50, 80-20, 100-20, I don't care. We still have to make sure that when he's not there, you're still able to go on with what he's giving you.
I agree with you, Sarah, and I actually agree with all of what you guys have said. I think it just all comes down to discernment, communication, and honestly not being stupid. You know, you won't. I'm sorry, I keep saying the word stupid today.
Simply.
Right? You know, if your situation calls to handle money in this particular way, then of course you'll do it that way. Don't try to be 50-50 if you know you can only be 80-20 at this time, you know, or you know. Anyway, so I just think it just comes down to the bottom of all of what I've gathered from what you guys have all said. I just think it all comes down to doing what's needed at the time, being discerned, using discernment, and open communication. Like I did not grow up knowing. No one told me how marriage should be or anything. My mom never pushed marriage. She never talked about how the marriage should look like. I just kind of figured, as I started growing in Christ, I just kind of figured stuff out on my own, and how God has put in my heart as how marriage and how, you know, partnership should be. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree. So for me, like I said, I'm coming from a single mom. So and y'all see my mom, y'all know my mom, y'all know my mom. So my mom is a very, very strong-willed woman. She's very I am what I am, and can't nobody tell me anything kind of thing. So when she was raising me, she was raising me to be the same way. Kind of, you're strong. You really don't need a guy to do anything for you. But if you do meet a guy, you're not just getting any guy. Like, I want you to get the guy. Like, he needs to have money. He needs to be educated, because you're educated. I make sure you're educated. So my mom's like, listen, you go to school, you're in college, you're a smart girl, and I don't want you with nobody, just anybody, you know. So for her, it's like, she doesn't want me to settle. for anything, just anything, because she's like, I know that's one thing my mom had always solidified in me is my worth. And she's like, you know, you're this, you're that. She always solidified my worth into me. So even me now looking for a potential partner, which is why I think I'm still single, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I have a standard. And that standard is it's not easily met. And it's like, I understand, well, it's for the one that God has for me, kind of thing. That's how I see it. But at the same time, it's like, how long do we got? You feel me? But do you end up actually settling because of time, or do you wait?
That part.
You know what I mean? Because you have a certain standard and you know you deserve more. So that's another question. Do you feel like people should wait to find their standard, or should they just settle? No. Okay, let me rephrase the question. So, with realistic standards, folks, because I had to. So let me back up a little bit, because I had an episode a few weeks back where I spoke about how I had to reevaluate my standards, because the way that I saw men, like I used to be like, nah, he has to make, because I was like, he has to make 6 figures or more. He has to be like, you know, a godly, I mean, a prayer warrior, okay? Because I pray and I need somebody to pray with me. He needs to be like, he needs to look a certain way. He needs to know how to dress. He needs to know how to communicate well. You know what I mean? Things like, my standards were ridiculous. I had some ridiculous standards. And a lot of them were based off what my mom wanted too, because I was like, oh no, he can't be, listen, my mom don't want me to marry a Haitian. She didn't want me to marry no Haitian man. She was like, no, he has to be Spanish or white, or like, if he's Black American, he can't be no like ghetto Black American. Like, that's how my mom, she has like high standards. So I can't bring my mom in no thug looking dude. Like, he can have goals, no tats, nothing. Like, this dude has to look.
I'm telling you, them Haitians don't play. Haitian mothers, they are the most vicious people when it comes to protecting.
Your mom sounds like my mom.
You with just love.
So it's like destroy. I mean, from the dough. It don't even have to be.
I mean, for me, when I had decided not. Sorry, go ahead, honey.
No, just saying, what is your question? Can you repeat the question?
So the question was, with realistic standards, will we wait for, should we wait with our realistic standards to find that person? Or should we, I lost it. So do you remember where I was? I think it was, if you're realistic standard,
you just settle.
Or should you settle? Yes. Or should you just settle? Yes. There's a time.
Oh, you was gonna say something. I know you was gonna say something. Sure, go.
I have an example. I'm not gonna say his name, but a man of God that we know. I was talking to him, and I was telling him that there was this guy who I saw, and he was cute or whatever. But you know, he wasn't a man of God, and I'm like, okay, that's one of the things that I look for. And the first thing he decided to focus on was the cute part. He was just like, oh, that doesn't matter. That's not what you should be looking for. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, Jeremiah 29:11 says he knows what's best for me. So I'm assuming the guy he sends for me is going to come with all of the above. I don't understand why I'm making exceptions. Like, why do I have to be this ugly because he's Christian? I don't understand that. I was like, there's fine Christians, there's wealthy Christians.
Oh, yeah.
Not making any sense to me. Oh, yeah. So with that being said, I feel like God has his own timing. I feel like you may want it at a specific timing, but if you believe that if you really believe that he knows what's best for you, then wait. It may not go with everybody else's timing. It may take a couple years, but I don't think you should settle, because this is somebody that you have to wake up to every day for the rest of your life, and you don't want there to be any like, oh, what if I waited, or what if there was something better? Because I think that way you're gonna regret it sooner or later.
I agree with you. I agree. And I want to say something. Do I talk while Farrah is gone? Or?
Oh yes, go ahead. I'm here.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't think anyone should settle. I do think with realistic standard, wait for that guy. Now I remember you were saying one of your standards is, or he has to be a prayer warrior, and I think you were putting it as an unrealistic standard. Were you?
No, I wasn't putting it as an unrealistic standard, but I was putting it as not every man can pray like that. Not every man can pray on my level.
Exactly. That's why you need to wait for the guy.
Right.
Because I believe that if you are a prayer warrior, I believe that your guy, and you know what, let me not. Okay.
Go there. Just go there. Just go ahead. Just go there.
I just feel like, you know, if God has put in your heart that your man is supposed to be the same, pray as much as you or more, then, you know, wait for that guy. Now, and of course that takes communication with God. You and God have to be like this. You can't, you know, that can't come from a fleshly desire. But in terms of standard, wait for the guy that has the standard, the realistic standard you're looking for. And the unrealistic standard are, you know, the ones like, you know, how they look, how they walk. I mean, people can't, you know, you walk how you walk. That's like if you're like, oh, I can't date this guy because he walks crooked. Like, no, like what do you mean? What are you, 5? You know? So but in terms of like a godly man and an honorable guy, not a liar, you know, that's in the Bible, thou shalt not lie. Someone that's truthful, honest, and that respects your relationship with your family, that wants to be in your family and you want to be in theirs. But yeah, just keep the standard. Don't settle. Never. Even if you get older, you know, you reaching what? Like if you're reaching 40, because and here's another thing, you have to be in position as well.
Oh, come on, word.
You can't be in your bed talking about, hey, where's my attention?
I said, come on, word.
That part.
Like, what you talking about? You can't find it in bed.
You're reading my mind, Candace.
One thing that God has put in my heart, as I've gotten closer to Him, is that I will meet my husband where I'm supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
So if I need to be at the place that God wants me to be for me to meet my husband.
Amen.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, I will say something. I want to say something. I think that even like right after I had met my husband, I was always thinking, am I settling? Or if this were to move forward, would I be settling? And I know that sometimes we tend to marry potential, or we tend to just settle with potential, or this person has the potential of being, you know, this husband. But then again, have you seen it? If that person has not portrayed that this person that you need to become in the future, they can take you there. And for me, I've always said, where I come from, in the bits of pieces in Haiti, I cannot just be with anyone. And I knew for a fact that I was never going to marry a Haitian person. I don't care if I die, wake up in the next day. I don't care in what world. I would not end up with a Haitian person. I knew very well who I wanted to be with. I just knew it was not going to be a Haitian person. I don't care if it was Jose, Rosario, I don't care whose name it was, Italian, Australian,
Haitian?
Russian, Mexican, not Haitian. Okay, but
all right,
but
we love you so much.
I mean, we have our preferences, but for me, what I have seen was that it was hard for me to see prayerful men in the Haitian community at the time that I knew it was my season to be, you know, in marriage. And for me, it's knowing your season. If you know it for you, that you know, God, like this season of my life, I know there's better for me. The next season is marriage. Then again, you just have to know that you start getting yourself ready for that, because Esther did it, right? So then again, we have to be ready to just know. And also, you have to know that you yourself, you are ready to meet the man, and the man is also ready to meet you. So in the sense of, don't just be so focused on your standard that you yourself, you're not fixing yourself, so that he himself, he has standards.
Yeah, true.
So then again, but I don't understand that you don't want to marry me because I know you have everything that I want, but do you have everything that he wants? So then again, it has to be a two-way street, because then again, by the time you enter into marriage, you will be looking at yourself. Like, you literally, like, your husband will be a reflection of you, and vice versa. So then again, time reveals. And one thing when I was listening to you guys was, time reveals people. So then again, you have to give time to get time. So in a sense of, you have to give time for you to make sure that always go over the standards, so that when you wrote them down, you wrote them spiritually with a spiritual eye and not with lustful eyes. So you go on the shade room and you see, oh my God, goals, and then all of a sudden I want my husband to be 5'4" or 6'12", and I want him to be a realtor and making million. And what are you making?
You at
So for
home.
me, it's always like
What are
you
you
have to
making?
bring some.
True.
Yeah,
That's
you have to
true.
bring something to the table, because you can't ask him to bring something
Exactly.
to the table. In fact, you
Exactly.
can't even bring him. You can't ask him to bring the table, and you have nothing to
Okay.
put on it. So
Word.
then again, like it's a mindset of it's a give and take. So what if you guys grew up together? That's a whole nother story. You get to learn each other as you go. But if it's now you're in your prime time, I'm living my best life, and you're ready to settle down. What is he bringing, and what am I bringing? So for me, when I meet anyone, whether that may be friendship or anything, I'm like, how can I add to this person, and how can this person add
Nice.
to me? And it's just that simple. So the standards is, are they spiritual standards? Are you sure that it's not something that you're asking? Because for me, when I met my husband, I'm like, sir, you have to be able to pray, and thank God for that, because I'm like, where the demons in my family are, the demons in my family, they don't play
Right.
about. So I need to make sure that I know that I can pray, but you too, when I need that
Yes.
extra backup,
Yeah.
you're
Yes,
there.
Yes.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And he too, when he knows that when he's not looking you as his wife or girlfriend, whatever, so maybe you are able to
Yeah.
catch on as well. So it's not that you looking for a spiritual man, he's also looking for a
Exactly.
spiritual woman. So your values, which is why it always goes back to sharing the common values and understanding each other. So until then, baby boo, bye. See you later. Dismiss this, the night. That's it. And that's about it. Just knowing your values, and also are they written in the spiritual values, and are they according to the Bible?
Sonia, you had the rebuttal. I saw you. Were you going next?
I saw you. Were you going next? I forgot some of the
Okay.
things I was going to say, but one of the questions I was going to say is, like, who defines what's realistic? Like, I don't know if that, because, well, one of the things, because I, for myself, used to say, my husband, whoever I meet, has to have a lot of money.
Hey.
Even though now I know I was misinterpreting the scripture, but there's two scriptures that I used to think of. One scripture says, after you get married, basically, the husband and wife should not go to war, work, or anything for 1 year. So I was looking at it like, okay, after we get married, he shouldn't go to work, I shouldn't go to work, or whatever the case may be. So he should have enough money by the time we meet to support us for for the
For
full
that
year.
year.
I guess the purpose of that was it's like the honeymoon stage, getting to know each other, and for that 1 year. So I'm like, he gotta have money. And the other thing is, there's a scripture that says, a guy that doesn't take care of his family is worse than an infidel. And I'm like, wait, God is saying if a guy doesn't take care of his family, he's worse than he's like an unbeliever or whatever. So I was like, he has to take care of me. But now I know it's not like that. But some people may believe that, that's what it's saying or whatever. But
I think to answer your question, I think that who defines what is realistic I think you do. And if you are a spiritual person, you should know that with having the Holy Spirit within you, you should know that, all right, God, because the Holy Spirit will check you. Like, okay, so
but I
you're
have a
doing a bit
question
too
about
much.
that.
Go ahead.
Like, I believe it was Candace. She was like, say, a person with a certain walk. Of course, I don't look at a walk or whatever. But for me, like Farrah said, and I think you said, I knew for a long time, since I was young, a specific nationality. And that's always came to my mind, that my husband would
Yeah.
be this. Even before I knew the prophetic, anything like that, I already knew I had a call upon my life. I was like, I never said I have a call on my life, but I said I have something to do for God. And the same way with my husband, I always said the person I will marry will be from this place. So would that be it's just my own desire, or is
See,
that
but we have
like
to. I think that's where we have to trust God, right? Because
Exactly.
He knows us. God knows us before we even knew ourselves, right? So He knows exactly what we desire and what we want out of a partner and what we're looking for. I'm pretty sure God ain't gonna give us. So you know, Richard. Richard's like he says, he goes, I don't want no booger wolf. Basically, like an ugly person. Like I can't. I have to look at you. Like feelings fade. You feel me? Like feelings will fade eventually. So God knows that there will be times where you don't feel love for your spouse, and you need to look at them and be like, nah, nigga, I love them, man. Look at that face. You know what I mean? Damn, look at that walk. Look at that how they got. Oh, I'm in love. Never mind. You know what I mean? So I know God knows we're visual people. We have eyes to see. We need to be able to be attached to something. You know. So I think we have to trust God that He won't give us something we're not attracted to. Yeah. So
Yeah, and I don't think God would give us anything.
we're
that
sensory
we're
people. You know, we're made of senses.
But it depends on, it also goes back to, because sometimes you look at other people's spouses
How?
and like, wow, how, who did that? Why? What were you looking at? You know?
Facts.
So, when the Bible says the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, like whoever finds favor, then again, also, we may enter into a whole nother discussion with this. Like, there are people that says that Esther was not pretty, but received favor from the king. So sometimes the person that you end up falling with, it could be like, oh, child, God really brought you two together. It had to be God. This was nothing on your own. This was God. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of knowing who you are with, because then again, other people may not find that person attractive, but you yourself. Because by the time you marry with that person, by the time you know that this person, before you were even in the womb, God knew that you was going to be with this person. So then again, the minute you guys met, your souls clicked. So regardless of how ugly that other people may find that person, then again, you find your person. This is, I've heard somebody says, you find my wife ugly, but I find my wife, the most beautiful person in the world. So then again, we of course don't want, no one asks for an ugly person, but how would you know? I've also had a best friend that says, yeah, Sarah, she ugly, but I love that girl. All right then. Yeah. So then again, if the beauty,
the eye of the beholder.
If the beauty, right? Yeah. So if the beauty fades, but that something keeps that person. Also, like, I don't care how cute you are, if you have a nasty personality and you believe in God, but yet your personality, your character actually defies everything. I don't care how cute you are. You could be like Idris Elba. You could be Trey Songz. You could be Daddy Joe Biden. I'm not gonna be with you. That's just me, because I don't want to. The looks will fade, but the character is what's gonna make me stay with you. So for me, character is everything. So once you click with the character, you'll find the person slowly attractive, surely, but you'll get there. You're like, all right, like, look at your fat nose or something, like my Respucia, or sometimes I'll call my husband Norbit, or he'll call me Respucia. So it's a matter of, knowing who you are with, because relationship, regardless if it's intimacy or friendship in general, it's a beautiful thing when you find the one that you were supposed to be with.
Yes, I agree.
I don't necessarily have a nationality preference, but I would say for, like, okay, so the verse that you said where you were saying that for a year you guys are not working, when you said that, I took what Sarah said before, where she was like, you have to make sure that you're prepared just the same way he's preparing for you. So I feel like if you believe in that verse, then you would also come with a whole bunch of money prepared, because you know that you guys both want to take the year off. That's what I took it as. But as far as like him having a lot of money, I also agree with that, because I still want my 10 kids. I'm going to say this forever and ever. That's what I want.
You say 10, I say 12. I'm going to have a whole disciple here. Listen, discipleship, honey.
Because we're at 10, why not? But I'm like, I have to be able able
we
to
have to
afford
start
that.
early
You have to
then.
be able to afford that. So it's the same thing with me. Like, I feel like some criteria for some people may be unrealistic, but you know why you want it that way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 6'1". If I want a tall person, no one's gonna make me feel bad for wanting a tall person.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to bend down and strain my neck trying to kiss nobody.
I mean, God's not gonna let you settle with Kevin Hart,
Okay,
but then again,
thank
if you
you.
end up with me, you know what I'm
Can I say
saying. So
something?
it is what it is. But are you willing to be like, all right, fine, I love you, but you don't meet the height criteria? Let me just. Are you willing to do
Not
that?
for the height. I don't know.
Like, it gotta be a high because you be like, in the wedding night, you be like, honey, let me carry you
Yeah,
instead.
not for the
So
height.
you over here like carrying your own Kevin Hart.
All right, Candace, you said you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes I think not telling people your standard should be a thing. Like, you know, not telling someone that, oh, I want, you know, a 6 foot height guy, or like a prayer warrior, because I think some people they shut it down.
Farrah, you did that, didn't you?
They shut you down, like, oh, you can't find a guy like that, you know, and then the guy that, and then you end up settling because you start feeling like, oh my gosh, everyone's right, you know, I can never find this guy, you know. So I think sometimes it's good to keep your standards to yourself, and just carry on.
Got a rebuttal. Okay, hold on. Tatiana, hold your fire. 1 second, Tatiana, I got you. So with the rebuttal with that, so with the holding your standards, I really feel like when you are, like, for the singles in here, so when you are in a like, let's say you're talking to somebody or you're dating somebody, I don't think that you guys should speak about your standards. I feel like that pushes people away and it scares people away as well, because I've had that situation happen.
I know you did. I know you did.
The standards are like up here, and having that conversation, it scares people. They're like, yo, I can't meet that, or I'm not there. But that person has the things that I actually need, right? Because I'm seeing them through the eyes of, like, I want this, I want that, I want this. But the person actually has the things that I need. I don't need the other stuff. I want the other things, but what I need, that person carries. So that goes back to what Sarah said, is that you don't know how that person's going to look, but what they have in them is what you need. It's what you need. Yeah. So Tati, go ahead.
How do you know?
Oh.
Tati, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Candace. Oh, sorry. Whoever.
Before I answer the question, I'm just going to kind of add to talking about your standards. First things first, don't do that, because the person might just fake it.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
That too, yeah.
Oh, she pretty, she big, she light skinned, you know, let me just act like, and you know.
True.
So it's like, you just kind of observe and, you know, just kind of make mental notes. But if you sit up here like, I want this, I want that, it's easy to pretend. Don't waste your time like that. Just kind of observe. And if you see what you want, proceed. But anyway, let me go back to answering to the question. So your question was, should we wait or should we settle?
Yes.
I, like, Sam was my first boyfriend. So I don't.
She has the perfect love story, you guys.
Whatever it is, but like I've had times where I'm fighting myself. It's like, you know, I've never experienced any other man. So is this what I really want? So, you know, it's like, you know, I don't know how another man will treat me. I don't know what another man can do for me. So it's like, I be having arguments with myself. It's like, did I settle? But then I have to take a step back, and it's like, you know, I have everything I need. Like, sure, I don't have the worldly things. Like, you know, no, he's not going to fly me out of the country for right now. But, you know, at the same time, we were really young. So it's like, you cannot expect your 21-year-old boyfriend to take care of you.
Right.
That's not realistic. Right. So it's like, you have to.
Yeah, and you guys are growing together, which is a beautiful thing.
A lot of people, they do not want to work together. They do not want to build together. They just want to jump into somebody's cash flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like me and my husband, we've had nights where, we would have to split a bread. We've had nights where the light got cut off and we had to wait till the morning to go pay it. We were too late. It's not like we didn't have the money, but it's like, sometimes we get the money so last minute that they already cut it off. Like, I remember our first apartment, we had a couch and a little round table with 2 chairs. And I was so embarrassed. I did not want anybody coming to my house. So it's like, if I was looking at that like, oh, he can buy me a house, we're 21 and 19. Like, be real. So it's like a lot of, not to bash anybody, a lot of people, their requirements is money, 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 money. Like, you have, like, I used to watch I watched this movie on Netflix. I forgot what it was called, but this man gave this lady everything, every single thing. Like, they had people over the house. He walked in with a bouquet of roses. He gave her a big necklace. Everyone's like, oh my God, girl, you got a good one. And he blacked her eye as soon as the party was over. So it's like, we look at money too much. So it's like, nobody wants a broke nigga.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I say it on the pod. You're fine. I think we do a lot.
But let's be real. I'm not saying don't require your man to have money, but your real requirements is, does he have a goal? Is he working? Is he saving? You know what I mean? Let's be real. Like, you're not just gonna jump into cash flow. And any man that just lets you jump into his cash flow without evaluating you, like, no man is gonna want a wife that all she wants to do is go shopping and be pretty. Like, how is she gonna flip this money?
Right.
Like, what is she gonna invest in? How is she gonna, how are we gonna match to buy that house? So,
Being a wife characteristics, that's part of Proverbs 31 thing that says it, like, if a man gives you money, are you able to do that?
You're not up to par yourself. But back to the real point, like, as for me and myself, I used to be like, dang, you got married at 19, you never experienced any other man. Is this what you really wanted? Is this, But it's like, at the end of the day, my needs are more important than my wants. I have everything I need. So it's like, I used to always say I don't want a Haitian man. Technically, I don't have a Haitian man. Sam is just Haitian by blood.
Yeah, like, you think show.
The reason I used to say I don't want a Haitian man was because my father is very biased. He had 4 kids and 4 baby mamas.
Jesus.
He wants to date a woman with no kids, no baby daddies. You bringing 4 kids to the table. You bringing 3. He's like, oh, that's just me. Like, no, that's not fair. Like, how do you have this? I just feel like a lot of Haitian men, like, they're not fair. Like, they just want everything to be to their advantage. So it's like, what they'll do, like, what they'll do to their wife, they don't want their wives to do. And I'm not talking about any form of cheating or abuse, but just little things, So for me, like, that conversation, I've stopped having it with myself. Like, did I settle? Like, I have a good life. I'm able to, we're able to afford what we need. Our child is healthy. We're praising the Lord. Like, I have what I need. And it's like another thing with to piggyback off of the cue. You don't pay no bills.
Okay, word.
Like, of course, we're not with the man because he pays bills. But at the end of the
Oh,
day,
wow.
like, you have an average guy. You come home, you're like, oh my God, babe, I had such a long day. Oh, I'm just so tired. And he gets up. He's like, oh my God, my baby. He rubs your feet. He runs the bath. He cleans up because he knows you're tired. And he lights a nice candle. He's like, just go to sleep. I put the kids to bed. Or do you want this sexy 6-pack? Oh my God, babe, I had a long day. He's like, oh my, wow, really? On the video game, like.
Thank you. I would smack you back to Africa. Like, listen, don't play that. Don't do that now. Childish.
Nobody wants a monkey. Like, nobody wants to pay for your head and we can act. But at the end of the day, how is that man treating you? Like, I would take a decent guy that loves me before I take a guy that.
Word.
That is pleasing to the world.
Like,
instead
I
of
agree.
The aesthetic.
How are you treating me? How are you, So it's like, whenever I see girls, like, oh, he gotta be fine, he gotta be light skinned, he gotta be this. Like, girl, please, as long as he ain't ugly, he can, he knows how to get me.
A light skin is so overrated. Like, I don't even know. Light skin man is so overrated.
That's another conversation. another conversation.
I know I'm young,
But wait, let me ask you guys. I have a question after
like
Tati.
I know I'm young, but like I did get married when I was 19, and I'm 23. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're so young. How are you gonna be able to sustain a marriage? Blah blah blah. You're still a child yourself. How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna do that?"
You've
And
done
I'm
well.
like, and I just kind of stare at
You've
them
done
because like
very
the type of
well.
person
I'm
I
so
am,
proud of you.
I don't really like to settle. Like if I don't like something, if I don't like it, like my face will tell you. I'll just stare like. Well, so it's like you just gotta do you at the end of the day. You know what you want. Don't be a gold digger. Like we all don't want a broke person, but don't let that blind you from everything else. Like yeah, he got money, but what else does he have?
Amen.
Is it clean money though? That's
Hey,
another.
hey, that's another conversation.
Okay, are you breaking other
Like
men?
my peers and stuff, they like, oh my drug dealer boyfriend this. Oh, get you
Okay.
people drop a ban on
You
it.
finna end you will end up in jail,
Wow.
anyways. So let me ask you guys this question. I know let me ask you guys this question. Two questions. Have you guys heard of this guy called Kevin Samuels? The
Yes,
guy that gives
yes,
like all of
yes,
those.
yes,
Oh my God, this guy, he actually, I don't know what to. Anyways, I just wanted to know if you
yes.
guys have heard of him, because if you haven't, please hear from him. The way he downgrades and degrades women is just unbelievable. He'll be like, so you 5'3" and you fat, and then you're not working and you have 5 kids and you expect to have a millionaire. With what? You gotta
Yeah.
work on yourself and you
Yeah.
do this and that. He gives the
It's
truth. It's
harsh.
just how
It's
he
really
says
harsh.
it.
Yeah, it's really, really
Right?
harsh and rough. Yeah. I watched it.
And another thing, I was gonna ask you guys this: have you guys heard of the whole Portia Williams
That
story
girl needs
thing?
to be dragged. What?
So the reason I'm asking is because going back to standards is because I feel that Portia has standards in the way that she did her standards. By any means necessary, she'll do whatever it takes for her to have whatever she wants from a man. So then again, you go ahead and be with your ex-fiance's friend or business partner. Then again, how does that work? And that was your supposedly friend's ex-husband, who, by the way, the divorce has not even finalized yet. So then again, you breaking two coconuts into one. Like, I just don't understand. But it reminds me, like, this girl has standards. She goes after the men with the big bellies with money. So whether that may be with the friends or without the friends, she did it. So my thing is, how far are you willing to go to achieve or get your standards?
See, no, not that far. Not that far.
Right? Not that
You
far.
have to know your, because it goes back to you having to know your worth. You need to know your worth before you even go into values. Like you can't go into like looking for relationships as women of God. You can't. We can't just go ahead and say, "Oh, I want a relationship because this is what the church is saying. This is what the society is saying. My time and my age. Church is saying because I can't be single. I need a helpmate. I need a husband and all that stuff. I can't be living off that. I have to live off the word of God and what the Lord has told me about concerning me. And then I also believe in the worth that I have built in myself. And I always tell people, I'm like, man, it took forever for me to build this version of Farrah, because 2 to 3 years ago, I wasn't this Farrah. So for me to have built this version of me, I need you to respect that. Like, period. I know my worth. I've done the mental work. I'm doing the healing work. Don't just settle, you know what I mean? Don't make me feel like I have to go out there and look for other things and try to find other things, you know what I mean? Like, know your worth and add tax.
Now, mark my words, that relationship is gonna come crashing down. Because how are you engaged to
Very
a married
soon.
man?
I'm waiting for them to say that it was a joke, because to me, I cannot understand
And
it.
after a
And
month-
this has people with trust issues. After a month, and mind you, the divorce has not even finalized. It's not finalized. So then again, it makes me wonder.
Hey
Like
guys,
now, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to
I'm
start."
sorry, but Sarah,
Yes.
I have to leave.
Okay. This
So
is, I didn't even realize we went way past time. It is 1 hour and 30
Oh
minutes.
God. I was trying to text you, but I guess your phone's off. I don't know.
Yes.
But
Okay. But before you leave, I'm going to actually go ahead and wrap it up because I did not notice that we went an hour and 30. We're supposed to go an hour. But it's okay because I did want to do a part 2 anyway. So, this was great. So, but everyone, thank you so much. I don't know where Catherine, I don't see you, but thank you guys so much for coming on.
Catherine?
Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. All right. But I can hear you, which is well. But thank you guys so much, Shar, Candace, Catherine, Sonia, Sarah. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. There will be a part 2, butterflies, I promise, because I want to continue this conversation. This was dope. This is great. It carried on the whole different things. I didn't even get to all my questions. I got to 2 questions, believe it or not. So, so this is great.
That's what happens when women get together.
Oh yes, I love it. I love it. So, and like we said prior, we will be doing a Facebook Live, so we'll be able to actually have questions coming in and be able to answer with people. So it'll be a lot more fun. But once again, thank you guys so much for coming on. And butterflies, thank you so much for sticking with us this long. And remember, butterflies, always fly high. All right. All right.
Thank you for having me. Take
Stay
care.
on. Wait, are we?
Thank you for listening to the Butterfly Diaries podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms at the Butterfly Diaries podcast. And don't forget, butterflies, always fly high.